What's up? It's Joe Rady from Rady's Rise. We're back here in one of my favorite sunny spot filming locations because guess what? We have a German luxury SUV that actually has something new for this model year. This is it. This is a 2022 Audi e-tron. This particular one is the new Chronos Edition. But before we dive into this luxury quattro all-wheel drive powered SUV, let's talk about what's going on here. Audi. They're doing the business like they've been for decades, bringing, of course, unique German style, but also performance. Of course, over the years, they have been the one to bring quattro all-wheel drive systems into the marketplace and really showcase what they've learned in the rally stages and on also paved road courses throughout their history of racing. Now, with this e-tron, of course, we're now doing electrification. The e-tron was their first electric vehicle for the public, and now what they're doing is they're kind of expanding not only their lineup of electrified vehicles with the e-tron GT and the Sportback, but also the way that you could spec it. What I want to find out is, though, does Audi do it the best when it comes to an electrified luxury SUV, or is it better to go with the competition? What would be a competitor to this vehicle? That new Genesis GV60. So let's go ahead, let's dive into this e-tron and find out. Right off the bat, the color. This Navarra blue has a great metallic flake to it and looks stunning in the Florida sun. Now, at the front of the business, what are we gonna do for lighting? You have, of course, full LED headlights, LED turn signals, and daytime running lamps. Very unique design on the headlight housing. Let you know that this is an Audi. You're not gonna confuse this with a Mercedes-Benz or a BMW. Working your way down, we have these massive functional corner air curtains, some gloss black, but the rest is full functional to take that air. Because remember, when we're talking about an electrified vehicle and we're trying to get range, yes, battery pack is important, but we can only have so big of a battery. You also want to work on the aerodynamics. And this is where Audi's racing history has really played a huge role in all that engineering. Now, when we come across the open face grille, you look at this, this is a design signifier of the Audi brand. That open face grille, even though obviously what you're gonna find is in the center is gonna be your functionality, because we do have a liquid cooled lithium ion battery. You do have your forward facing camera, the Auto Union badge, those four companies that formed together during the World Depression to form Auto Union with Audi. And I love the way it has the vertical stakes, but also the horizontal openings. You got your S-Line badge, and this is the Chronos Edition, which is gonna bring some special touches. I'll show you around the corner. Lower portion, massive functional opening to bring nice cool air for that liquid cooled lithium ion battery pack. And then you do have some just little sprinkling of gloss black along the bottom. And I like the way they stamped the e-tron name right into this center area. But definitely, like I said, going down the road, you know this is an Audi. Now, when you get up onto the hood, very sleek, very low slung, meets nicely with the top portion where the grille is. You have a slight bulge in the center, and then everything else is nice, clean design. If you're comparing this to the front of the GV60, the GV60 looks a little bit more contemporary, almost futuristic, the way that they do their headlights and their front grille opening. But let me know what you think so far. Do you like the e-tron better, or do you like the GV6 better? Put that in that comment section. Now, when we come around the bend, you're gonna notice some massive things. First of all, the big thing you're gonna see are these 21-inch wheels. This is part of the Chronos package. Stock wheel is 20-inch. This is a 21-inch wheel. Nice V-spoke design. I love the way it's got the Audi Sport badge on that bottom portion right there. And then you'll notice that almost like school bus yellow, massive brake caliper. You do have regen braking, different levels of regen braking. This caliper is as big as a school bus. And to match up with the caliper, of course, you're gonna get a supersized rotor. It is two-piece rotor, So it's gonna cut down on heat buildup, and with the regen braking, that's gonna help allow that braking power to then help recharge the battery. If you're wondering, well, Joe, what's the size of this tire? 265 on the width, 45 series sidewall, 21-inch wheel, and because this is a Quattro e-tron, that means we have a motor up front to drive the front wheels and a motor out back to drive the rear wheels. Love the way everything is painted all the way around the opening here. And then coming down the side, you do get the e-tron badge with that same school bus yellow. They're calling it orange. It looks school bus yellow. Watch this. Where do you charge? You hit the button, it drops down, there's your port. The nice thing about the e-tron compared to the GV60 is you actually have a charging port on both sides. So think about that. Where you park your car at work, where you park it at a grocery store, or even in your garage, that gives you both sides of flexibility so you don't have to worry about how you're gonna squeeze it in. And I love the way it just closes so seamless. You're gonna get gloss black on the mirror caps. I like the turn signals, slim and trim. The one thing I'm gonna zonk is the flat black roof rails. I think they should have just done gloss black, to be honest with you, because you have gloss black around the window treatment, and then you'll notice some gloss black along the lower edge, but then they did flat black. Kind of not very cohesive, but we do have a panoramic sunroof, color matched on the door handles, and I do like that body line where they put the gloss black trim. It really gives it a nice extra kind of depth to the side of the vehicle. Now coming towards the rear, you got a good size quarter window. Remember, this is a compact SUV. This would basically be like a Q5. So it is a little bit larger than a GV60. GV60 is a little bit smaller. Of course, we got the same wheels and tires, all four corners, those 21-inch wheels with the large calipers and the 265 on the width tires. Coming around back, what do we got? Nice, long, low roof spoiler. You know we're gonna have to do it. Zonking this guy should be easily tucked underneath there to clean up the back, but they do such a spectacular job with their LED lighting. I love the way the turn signal kind of flows from one direction to the other. We got our Quattro badge, all blacked out. Our Audi badge, all blacked out. Of course, e-tron, and then dropping it all the way down, you do have a little sprinkling of gloss black, but very clean. And the Chronos Edition does come with a trailer hitch because you can tow with this e-tron. But why don't we go ahead, let's pop that hood and see what the heck is underneath it in the e-tron Quattro. All right, guys, we got the front hood open. You do have hood struts to keep that held open. Now, of course, there's no engine. This is an electric vehicle, but they do give you this nice closable compartment. Watch this, you lift it up. Underneath, you do have a nice little storage area. Some people would call it a frunk or a front mounted trunk. What do we have up here? We have all the charging equipment, easily stowable, and it's nice to have it up front since the two charge port doors are also on the front. I'll close it and get out of the way, but there is your electric motor up front. We also do have an electric motor out back, but what are we talking about here? We're talking about two motors, 355 horsepower, 414 pound-feet of torque. Now you can run this in sport mode, which would then give you up to 402 horsepower, 490 pound-feet of torque. It uses a 95 kilowatt hour liquid-cooled lithium-ion battery pack. It also has a 2-speed direct drive transmission, 0 to 60 in about 5 seconds flat. Top speed is governed to 125 miles per hour. MPGs, you're looking, or I should say MPGEs, you're looking at 78 in the city, 77 on the highway. Your range, this is where it's gonna hurt, only 222 miles, and the vehicle weighs 5,819 pounds. Towing capability, you could tow up to 4,000 pounds. If the battery is at 10% and you want to get to 80% on a fast charger, it will take about 30 minutes. If you use a 240 at home, it would take about 9 hours. But like I said, regen braking, the biggest issue, the biggest zonk I could think of is that range of only 222 miles. But why don't we go ahead, let's turn it on and see it in motion. All right, guys, we're inside this 2022 Audi e-tron Quattro, that Chronos Edition. I know you're saying to yourself, well, Joe, everybody and their mother has a Tesla. I don't want a Tesla. I have always been an Audi guy. I'm digging the e-tron. I don't know if I want a Genesis. I don't know if I'm ready for that yet. But how much is this e-tron Quattro the way that it's spec'd? Very good question, and I promise you, I feel your pain when it comes to Teslas. If you want one of these and you want it to look like this one, MSRP is right at $86,000. Let's see what you get for the money. To the door panels. So you're gonna get that familiar Audi style. Soft touch material. The silver trim, if you notice, has a little bit of a track in it. That is for ambient lighting. Obviously, you could change the colors. And this one has like a light Milky Way chocolate brown two-tone setup. You do get 2 memory seat settings for the passenger and for the driver, and you do have the Bang & Olufsen sound system with a little bit of silver trim. The good news is that door pocket is massive, so you could easily get a 1/4 pounder with cheese and a large fry and a large Coca-Cola to wash it down. Easy peasy. Now, going from the door panel to the dash, I'm liking in this particular one the dark stain wood. It's real open pore wood, so make sure if you're rubbing your wood, you don't get splinters in your hand. That's gonna hurt. I like the way the e-tron name illuminates with the ambient lighting, and it's right there. You can see it even during the day. We do have stitching up top on the dash. And then as we slide towards the center, it's kind of driver focused, and I'm digging that. You got your 10-inch infotainment system, obviously with your Google Maps setup and all that. You could be a Googler. We go to our home screen here. You could swipe easily through the different screens, and then you hit vehicle, and this is where you can get all sorts of good stuff. You got vehicle data with our range and charging. We can go into Audi Drive Select. Remember, we have adaptive air suspension, all 4 corners with your different modes. We're gonna go full dynamic. That's the sport with the raise mode. We could actually raise and lower the e-tron, and then we're right back to home. Throw it into reverse, backup camera. It's a little cloudy, but it's still pretty clear. You got your trajectory, you got your 360, you even got your 3D. So there we are in our e-tron. It would have been nice if it was blue and not this grayish color. Going to park, and then we're right back where we started. Easy peasy. Working our way down, 8.1 inches of more screen to play with. This is your dual climate control, heated seats, ventilated seats, everything easy to get to. You could even do your drive select right here if you don't want to go into the infotainment system. So that's another nice setup, the way they have multiple ways to do things. Your on button, I know it says start stop, but this is an EV. We're turning it on or you're turning it off. You can see the ambient lighting real thin. I like the way they got this palm rest here, so you could go to shift. You actually slide this electric controller here. A little bit hard to pick up, but this is where you're actually throwing it into reverse. This is where we're throwing it into drive, and then you push it to go into park. Large empty space, and I don't know how I feel about this. I'd rather have a lid here, but what's interesting is you got a place for a banana, a nice electrified banana as big as those calipers. We do have a 12 volt. I zonk these things because what happens to these? You take them out, your kid plays with them, and then the next thing you know, they're choking on it or they lost it. So I wish they just had a nice lid. Here's the actual sliding lid. You slide this door open, and that gives you your cup holders inside. So kind of bizarre how they have that set up. Let me know how you feel about this area right here in the comments section of this video. Semi-soft. It's like a stale chocolate bar softness. You do have USB-Cs. Open this up. Look at this. This is my favorite part. Voila. You have your official Audi polishing rag. And this is where if you get your fingerprints, you could polish everything down. So before you get out, you can be like, do a little spit shine, looking good, and then you put it right back in there. That's smart engineering. Seats, There's that chocolate brown again, stitching, nice perforation. Not the largest bolstering, but that's not what this is. This isn't an RS e-tron. You do have power seats, of course, for the passenger and the driver. And on top of that, we have that massive panoramic sunroof, which is a nice extra touch. I'm gonna close it back up. I don't want the sun's rays on me right now, but why don't you come over to the business end? I want to show you behind the wheel of the e-tron. All right, guys, business time behind the wheel. Not a whole lot to talk about. You do have a nice aluminum sill plate. It's a little small, but it does light up at night. And this is an S line, so it's got the S badge. The pedal box is weak. No aluminum pedals whatsoever. And for 86 Gs, I want a little bit of aluminum on my pedals. Now, you do have your seat controls, easy to get to, and they put some silver finish on it to kind of spruce it up. I'm 6 feet tall. And it's surprising how much headroom I have in here. This actually is more spacious than a GV60. Steering wheel, it's on the bland side. So nice leather, nice thin spoke. It's just, I wish there was just a little specialness with the horn button. Give me some stitching. But I do like the way they have that open face grille with the auto union badge. Gloss black on the switchgear, but we do have our polishing cloth. The paddles are for the regen braking, because remember, this does not have an 8-speed automatic or something. It is a power tilting and telescoping steering wheel. And then we have our nice large virtual cockpit. Audi has done a great job with their digital gauge displays. Look at the way you could change it up all by the press of a button. Really, really love the simplicity and all the different information you could get to come up on the screen. Very nicely done. And there's a head-up display. So they got you covered when it comes to info. But why don't we go ahead, let's get in the back seat and see how this competes against the Genesis GV60. All right, guys, back seat time. And what's nice is that the rear seats look just as nice as the seats up front, and they are very comfortable. I have to give Audi that. The backs of the seats, I'm gonna have to zonk the cargo net. It's one of those things that you could only put blunt instruments in here. So no daggers, no throwing stars, definitely no swords, because it's gonna rip right through that. We do have a nice little command center. AC vents in the center, and I have other AC vents I'm going to show you before we leave. You do get your dual climate, and it looks very similar to what's up front. And 3 stages of heated seats, no ventilated seats. That should be there. That's a zonk for $86,000. We do have a 12-volt and 2 USB-Cs. A fairly flat floor back here, and that's what makes it extra comfortable, is sitting back here with the flat floor. Lots of room up top, even with the panoramic sunroof. We pull this bad boy down. Not the softest place that I want to put my arm, but you open it up. You got some felt lining in here. This is where you could keep all your rings, your necklaces, all that fancy stuff, so it doesn't get all scratched up. Of course, you got your complicated cup holders, but they are simple to use. And then the finishing part is the AC vents that they actually put in the frame of the vehicle. I'm so glad that each person back here gets 2 areas of AC vents on their side. That's a really, really nice touch. But let's get into the cargo area and see how much room we have in this Audi. All right, guys, cargo area time, real simple. Hit the button. Nice electric assist. Now, the one thing I want to point out before we just rush in is look how high the rear bumper is. Remember, we have those dual motors. Bumper's on the higher side, so if you got to lift a lot of things from ground level into the back, you might want to take that into consideration. What I do like is that on both sides, you're going to get your required German Twinkie holder for your box of Twinkies on both sides. We also have the ability to fold down those rear seats very easily. Of course, we got a cargo net back here. And if you're wondering, well, Joe, how much room is there? Still not too shabby when it comes to space. You're basically looking at 27 cubic feet of space with the seats up, 57 cubic feet of space by folding the seats down. The best news is look at this. Lift this up, we actually have a lot of storage. You could go to Costco, you could easily get 3 of those supersized bags of Lay's chips, and we got a spare tire. So they got you covered there, but you know what? It's time to get the rubber and the metal to meet the road. If you're ready, I'm ready. Let's go on throttle for a little spin in the e-tron. All right, guys, we're inside this 2022 Audi e-tron Quattro with the Chronos Edition. And right away, what you're gonna love about this e-tron is that if you've been in vehicles like the Audi Q5, you're gonna feel immediately at home. It feels and drives like an Audi, even though it is a full EV. Getting to everything is well within reach. I love the way you could easily click on and get into that information about efficiency with the battery. You could get into, of course, your navigation, which has the clear bird's eye view Google Maps setup. And remember, I think the biggest advantage of an electrified vehicle is that you get that battery pack down low in the chassis, and that's actually going to help you with handling. But visibility is great out the front. Seats are super comfortable. They are superb, and everything else is well laid out in here. The only thing that's not my favorite is that center console area when it comes to not having a proper lid. But other than that, you could see getting into just about anything with the infotainment system. Once you get the hang of it, it's a snap. I could go into my different modes. There we are in dynamic. I could then switch to anything else. I'm actually going to leave it in dynamic because I want to showcase what the full potential is of this vehicle. When you get off throttle, you'll notice the regen braking. See how it's slowing me down? And it's charging the battery at the same time. Now, this does not do one pedal operation, but when you have the regen braking on the whole entire time, it actually allows you to be at a complete stop. So when you come to a complete stop, it'll hold you. And then when you're ready to go, you hit the throttle and then you're off to the races. But it does not have your traditional one pedal operation. I like the way it's got my range. I could actually switch through all the different information to the left of the speedometer. See, here we are stopped. I'm not going until I get on throttle. I'm on throttle, here we go. So that all-wheel drive, keeping us planted, keeping us secure. Steering feedback is well done. I mean, these are the types of things that Audi does better than the other brands when it comes to their electrified vehicles. It's just simply feedback. And that's something that they have developed, obviously, over all their years of racing, doing rally, and everything else in between. Not the fastest of EVs, but you know what? I think that if you want more power, you can get more power. You could even go with the e-tron GT. I want to get behind the wheel of one of those. But very, very superb with how it drives, how smooth it is. And I like the fact that it doesn't have one pedal operation. It keeps you more engaged as a driver, not just riding along. But the regen braking works great, and it's so easy to adjust with the paddles. Super smooth. The head-up display is great, gives you all the important information. I want to come to a complete stop because I want to go on throttle here. Are you ready? On throttle, here we go. Very quiet in the cabin, and that is probably the biggest challenge for automakers when it comes to electrified vehicles, that in the past, some of the noise and vibration would be canceled out from the noise and the vibration of the engine. You don't get that in an electrified vehicle. You don't get that advantage. So they really got to work hard to make sure that this cabin stays quiet, and obviously Audi knows all about that kind of work. Technology-wise, they've been ahead of the game with their virtual cockpits, and of course, being able to transition. I mean, the fact that I could then just bring up the navigation right in the center there and still have all the other important information, that's the virtual cockpit. That's the technology that Audi has been doing for years, and a lot of other brands still have not caught up to that level. But here we are in the highway, very, very smooth, very composed, just like through the twisties. And even with the 21-inch wheels, with the adaptive air ride suspension, you're not feeling any harshness whatsoever. You got all the safety features, of course, that you could ever imagine. But having the 2 electric motors is a big plus for getting that extra horsepower. It's just that the range, that's probably the biggest sore spot in this vehicle, is going to be that range. But as you can see, I mean, navigating in traffic, it is a breeze, an absolute breeze to drive. I like the way the map changes. And even in the heavier setting for the regen braking, it's not too grabby. Like as soon as you get off throttle, it's like, whoa, we're braking. It feels natural. It feels normal. And I think that's another thing that you're gonna like with driving this Audi. All right, making a U-turn underneath this overpass. On throttle, here we go. Really, really nice. I love the look of it. I mean, for an electrified vehicle, it has a traditional look, especially a traditional Audi look. And then you're getting, like I said, that great handling performance and fit and finish that really is second to none. But super smooth, and as you can see at highway speeds, it's really just effortless. But I'm hoping that this gave you a good idea, especially when comparing it to something like the GV60. We're gonna get back to where it all started and wrap this one up, so I'll see you in a split second. All right guys, it's been an electrifying experience with this 2022 Audi e-tron, that Chronos Edition. I definitely want to thank everybody at Audi for allowing us access to this press fleet vehicle. Let me know what you think. Has Audi done it with getting that sporty style, with getting the versatility, the usability, and the performance? Or are you going to go with that new kid on the block, the Genesis GV60? Let me know in the comment section how you would spend your hard-earned money. But if you're new to the channel and you're on your way out, hit that subscribe button. I promise you it's worthwhile. Come back for more. If you are a subscriber, thank you for being part of the Radies Rides family. We got to give it up to Stephen Flood Photography, working hard like he usually does. Show him some love in the comment section. Thank you, Stephen, for all that you do. And just like always, guys, I'll see you on the next ride.